the Probiotic Discovery and Development Team at the University of Queensland Centre for Clinical Research, Brisbane, Australia. Today, we would like to talk about the most common opportunistic pathogens or the bed bugs causing infections in the ear and sinus. I'm Hannah. I'd like to talk about Haemophilus influenza.
I'm Kyra, and I'm going to tell you a bit about Streptococcus pneumoniae.
And I'm Amanda, and I'll talk to you about Staphylococcus aureus.
Okay, first, a little bit about the bacteria. Bacteria can be classified by their shape, preferred conditions of growth, and by ground staining. Shapes can include a rod shape or bacilli, a round shape, or coccus, coccobacilli, and spiral. They can be in arrangements such as a bunch or short chain.
The Streptococcus are usually in a chain,
While Staphylococcus are usually in a bunch like grapes.
Bacteria can grow under very diverse conditions, such as aerobic in normal air, anaerobic with low oxygen and high carbon dioxide, and facultative anaerobic, which prefer anaerobic condition but can get along in air.
bacteria can also be classified by the results of tests, the basic one being the gram stain.
With the gram stain, you've got gram-negative bacteria, which colour pink, and gram-positive bacteria, which colour purple.
Okay, let's start talking about Haemophilus influenza. Haemophilus influenza is a pathogen or bed bug that can cause infections in the upper respiratory tract. Haemophilus influenza was first described in 1892 during an influenza pandemic. Haemophilus means loves blood. Haemophilus influenza is a rod-shaped gram-negative facultative anaerobic bacteria. There are two major types of Haemophilus influenza, encapsulated and unencapsulated. The encapsulated Haemophilus influenza can be classified into 6 types, A to F, by serotyping of the capsule. Unencapsulated strains are also called non-typable Haemophilus influenza. Haemophilus influenza type B is often known to be a major virulent strain. It can cause bacteremia, pneumonia, meningitis, cellulitis, and many other serious infections. Non-typable Haemophilus influenza is actually the most commonly isolated Haemophilus influenza from clinical specimens. The non-typable Haemophilus influenza is often blamed as the primary cause of middle ear infections or otitis media. This infection is common in children and can cause hearing problems and hearing loss, and lead to various other problems such as learning problems. As part of our current project, we found a lot of Haemophilus influenza amongst Australian Indigenous children. In one study, we found that 20 out of 34 children were colonized by Haemophilus influenza in their upper respiratory tract. In the general adult population, we usually only found heavy colonization of Haemophilus influenza during the flu season, especially during winter months. So, in our research on the probiotic discovery and development, we aim to decolonize Haemophilus influenza from upper respiratory tract, especially in children, and to reduce the rate of ear infections using our probiotic strains.
Alrighty, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Streptococcus pneumoniae, which we know affectionately as strep pneumo. Now, strep pneumo is an opportunistic pathogen of the upper respiratory tract. It's gram-positive, cocci-shaped, it's facultatively anaerobic, and alpha-hemolytic. Now, while we usually accept that this is a commensal if we found it in, say, the mouth or in the throat, meaning that it's normally supposed to be there, it can cause serious infections in the lungs, in the respiratory tract, particularly amongst children and the elderly. It's a major cause of pneumonia and meningitis, and can also cause sinus infections, bronchitis, and otitis media. Now, we've isolated most of our strep pneumos from Aboriginal kids in winter months rather than in the summer months, and mostly from the nose rather than the throat. Given this, we still think that the Haemophilus influenza that Hannah spoke about earlier is still the main culprit for the otitis media amongst these kids. Now, there are vaccines available for pneumococcal diseases, such as the pneumonia that the strep pneumo can cause. We're looking at developing probiotic treatments that can prevent infections from the strep pneumo.
Alright, so now I'm going to talk about Staphylococcus aureus. Staph aureus are gram-positive cocci and key opportunistic pathogens in a disease called chronic rhinosinusitis, or CRS. We often see an overabundance of Staph aureus in CRS patients. They outcompete the good bacteria such as Lactobacillus species normally living in the upper respiratory tract, so then you end up with Staph aureus as the dominant species. Major virulence factors of Staph aureus include superantigens, which bypass normal antigen presentation. Instead of getting a very specific immune response, these superantigens activate many immune cells, so you end up with an excessive inflammatory response. So we are developing and screening various probiotic strains with the hope that we find some bacteria that can fight against the Staph aureus and eventually help people suffering from CRS.
Alright, that's our video for today. In the next video, we will talk about biofilms, which often caused by heavy colonization of Haemophilus influenza and or Staphylococcus aureus.
We'll also have more interesting videos on things like probiotics.
And the actions of our probiotic strains against the pathogens or bad bugs.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.